midterms are really starting to heat up. Welcome back to the Trevor Report, and let's jump right on into it. There's this opinion article from the New York Post. Fired up, Lee Zeldin brings the fight to Governor Hochul, decisively wins only New York governor debate. And here's the thing. I caught a little bit of it. I just didn't care. And the reason I don't care is because of one simple reason, okay? Lee Zeldin could just say to Kathy Hochul, "Listen, old lady, you were not elected. I win, you lose. Shut up." And he'll win every time because it's true. And then there's also the fact, this is going to be hopefully a quick one. Fetterman struggles during TV debate with Dr. Oz. Okay, Fetterman is a stroke victim who cannot have a conversation, or more accurately, based on the debate, can barely hold a conversation, even with having every single technological assistance that could possibly help him. Okay? Dr. Oz, as much as I hate him, doesn't have to experience that. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that I don't have to make this decision in Pennsylvania, because my God. Oh my God. Oz is this flip-flopping nincompoop, and Fetterman is beyond incompetent. He's so incompetent, you need an entirely new word and an entirely new language in order to properly outline precisely how incompetent John Fetterman is. But we don't have that, so I'll just have to call him incompetent, right? But then, for some reason, I guess, continuing with this strain of incompetence, Biden made an appearance to try to help Dr. Oz. Now, I say help with air quotes, because it's Biden's executive orders that are exacerbating the problems in this, including the inflation and supply chain and crisis in this country, because he's doing everything he can in order to make it harder for Americans to live their lives, which is very typical of a sort of uniparty candidate like Joe Biden, but like this is so stupid. Like, he's being propped up. Fetterman is being propped up by the machine. I unfortunately caught a little glimpse of CNN reporting about John Fetterman. It's like, yeah, he needs a bunch of technology in order to help him have a conversation, but voters don't really think that that's gonna impact him as the senator. Yeah, sure, CNN, shut up, but I'm just sort of glad all this stuff is starting to change. There's just stuff that I'm doing, there's stuff that other people are doing, and there are even people within this apparatus that are like, oh God, I can't do this anymore. And that's what an A-list Hollywood director said. A-list Hollywood director says days working with Disney are done, calls it a, quote, horrible big circus. Tim Burton revealed his true feelings about his former employer, Disney, likening working with the company to being trapped in a horrible big circus. Over the weekend, the Edward Scissorhands director was in Lyon, France, attending the Limery Film Festival. I don't pronounce things in French, well, I'll deal with it. Received the honorary however you pronounce that word, award. At a press conference, the filmmaker began to... another French word, reminisce on his career, and talked about his intimate relationship with Disney. Burton's career started out with Disney, where his work on Stalk of the Celery Monster earned him an animation apprenticeship. But now he thinks his collaborative days with the Mouse House are over. Lamenting, according to Deadline, how Disney family focuses on their flagship franchise, Star Wars, Marvel, and the Pixar studio, Bergen suggested it's difficult for a smaller independent project to flourish there. It's gotten to be very homogenized, very consolidated. There's less room for different types of things. He added that he has no plans to work on a Marvel movie anytime soon. Quote, I can only deal with one universe. I can't deal with a multi-universe. So it's covered things I talked about when I talked about Hollywood before. It's a big club and you ain't in it, and they've also have inherited this giant empire and they don't know what to do with it aside from just manufacturing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And speaking of things that are manufactured over and over and over again, Hillary Clinton decided to accuse the right of rigging the 2024 presidential election. She still says that the 2016 election was stolen from her, which is demonstrably untrue, and we'll get to it in a moment. But she's like, "Oh, they're gonna rig the 2024 election." No, they're not. Shut up, lady. You mean they're posed to win the 2024 presidential election? You know, but she's working for this group called Indivisible. It's very corporate. It's a bunch of nonsense. It's literally like, we need to be indivisible, and those disgusting Trumpers, you know, like in the same sentence. It's gross. It's nonsense, but people are talking about it, and honestly, I see why. It's Hillary Clinton's eyes. I don't like looking at this. I don't like looking at things. I don't like looking at demons trying to suck my soul away, so I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to bring up things, mainly this thing right here. Hang on, let me just block scripts. There we go. The secret history of the shadow campaign that saved the 2020 election. Read this article further. It talks about how the forces of capital united with the forces of labor in order to ensure the proper outcome, exact words, of the 2020 election. And they achieved this by changing voter laws behind the scenes pre-COVID-19 and a bunch of other insights. And it's just right here in this it's right here in this article. Oh, I blocked scripts and you can't scroll down. Time Magazine, you suck. But it hasn't been updated. Nothing's happened to it. So, you know, that's the way it is. The Democrats also have a habit of rigging, at the very least, their own primaries. Dear Democrat Party, it's time to stop rigging the primaries. From The Guardian, a left-wing journal. Ask countless Bernie Sanders supporters, and they'll tell you a big reason he lost the Democrat Party primaries is simple. The process was rigged. In one state after another, the votes by party elites, so-called superdelegates, counted more than those of regular members. And arduous voting requirements meant that countless people who would have voted for Sanders were denied that right. If the Democrats want any hope of voting Trump out of the White House, it is urgent they fix this broken system before the next election. As a member of Sanders' campaign, I'll never forget watching the primary votes being counted for Michigan. One of the key states that decided the 2016 election, Sanders' pledged delegate count, which reflected the number of votes he received from rank-and-file Democrats, exceeded Clinton's by 4. But after the superdelegates cast their ballots, the roll call registered Clinton 76, Sanders 67. They rigged their own elections. They rigged their own primary elections by having special donors count more than regular people. Essentially, this system essentially ensures that the Democrat Party will always and only elect uniparty candidates. Essentially, so not really a point in voting for them. I suppose there was an article here. Hang on. There we go. How Russian Twitter bots pumped out fake news during the 2016 election. This is now defunct. Like, there's no there were no, like, the Russians didn't really interfere in the 2016 election. And this was the Steele dossier, Russia collusion hoax. Okay, it's a hoax, and yeah, it didn't happen. You know, but then we have this. How Russia helped swing the election for Trump. It didn't happen, and these articles are still up. And then this is from Wired. Did Russia affect the 2016 election? It's now undeniable. Oh, hang on. I need to block scripts again. There we go. Did Russia affect the 2016 election? It's now undeniable. For some time, there have been a conflation of issues: the hacking and leaking of illegally obtained information versus propaganda and disinformation, cybersecurity issues, and the hacking of election systems Oh man, YouTube. I just like to bring up, this is the 2016 election they're talking about. So please don't ban me from equal access to the public square. Not that it matters anyway. I have a stronger presence on Rumble, Odyssey, and other places than I do on YouTube. So, screw you. And information warfare. Paid advertising versus coercive messaging or psychological operations. We're discussing Russian meddling in the 2016 election. The refrain has become, quote, "There is no evidence that Russian efforts changed any votes." But the bombshell 37-page indictment issued Friday by Robert Mueller against Russia, he doesn't know the origins of his own probe because he's an idiot and there's no Russia collusion. So it's unbelievably stupid, and that's why I'm going to move on. When the Democrats say that an election was rigged, it's fine. When Republicans say it, then it's not fine because again repressive tolerance. Okay, the political system in the United States is rigged against both populists and conservatives, and if you don't change the culture, this stuff will always continue to happen. Those who are concerned with forging and protecting that which is wholesome will always be overshadowed by those trying to relieve men's estate, even if men's estate is already relieved. So what we got to do as conservatives is, instead of just simply protecting that which is wholesome, we also have to forge that which is wholesome. And just going to move on to the final segment. Military whistleblowers sound alarm on devastating consequences of Pentagon's vaccine mandate. There's finally backlash against depriving people from equal access to the public square unless they get a mandatory invasive medical procedure. Oh my. It's about damn time. And even in the People's Republic of Canada, their people are apologizing. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith urges businesses to drop vaccine policies ahead of planned change to human rights law. If the government can arbitrarily decide on a whim what it constitutes, it's not alright. Anyway, moving on. New York Supreme Court orders NYC to rehire, pay back wages to unvaccinated city employees. Look, this stuff should have never happened in the first place. And if I had my choice, I'd choose that this never happened in the first place. But since it did, let these people get their just desserts. The New York Supreme Court has ordered New York City to rehire and pay back wages to government employees who were fired for refusing to get vaccinated against COVID-19. Dave Chosky, the city's health commissioner, issued an order in October 21 requiring all city employees to be inoculated against the virus. So I'm going to change the framing and make it correct. David Chosky, the health commissioner, issued an order in issued a government order in October 2021 requiring that all city employees to engage in a mandatory invasive medical procedure or be fired from their jobs. Later, Chosky issued a similar order for private sector employees. Mayor Eric Adams signed a supplementary executive order to the latter mandate, carving out exceptions for athletes, musicians, and other performers. And in other words, if you provide entertainment for your betters, then you are not part of what they consider the rabble. Oh, Jesus. This is awful. These people are awful. I'm sorry. Okay? The fact that Canada did what they did in the first place is evidence itself that the government of Canada is evil. The fact that New York City and New York State did this, okay, is evidence of the fact that the Supreme Court isn't evil in New York City, but these people are. the people that did this terrible thing in the first place. Look, guys, get your money back, get your just desserts when you get all that money in all at once. Don't spend it all in one place. This is not financial advice. This is political advice. If you spend it all at once, you will be. Don't spend it all at once. Okay, get this huge lump sum, and then have your job, and use that money to like take down hedge funds or something. Again, not financial advice, political advice. Okay, you're gonna get a huge. Okay, every single one of you city employees are gonna get a huge war chest to do something about the betters who did that to you. Something to think about. In the meantime, my name is Trevor Brown, and you just watched Trevor Report. Do click the link tree down below in the description that I was forced to make after Linktree banned my Linktree for opposing black nationalism. So I made my new one, but the problem is that one was kind of boring, so I made a different one with a separate company called With Koji, and then I put my boring Linktree in this other Linktree. So now I have this super Linktree that's just awesome in every way, and there's an ocean tide coming in and coming out. And I'll see you all in the next one. Please click the support link. Please. Pretty please. Thank you. Bye.